So Bernie Sanders dropped by our program today to talk about why democratic socialism is the best cure for oligarchy and authoritarianism. It's fascinating. Check it out. Ding the bell. Join our channel, please. Subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends about us and leave your comments. Senator Sanders gave an extraordinary speech yesterday in which he was essentially defending what we would call democratic socialism as the only way to defeat oligarchy and authoritarianism. And Senator Sanders is on the line with us right now. Senator, welcome back.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Great to have you with us. That was a hell of a speech. You want to, for people who didn't hear it or didn't catch it, you want to summarize the points you were making?
Yeah, thank you. Number one, what I did is make the point that way back in 1944, in a not widely publicized speech, State of the Union speech, Franklin Delano Roosevelt said something that was really profound. And what he said, Tom, is that, you know, we have a Bill of Rights, we have a Constitution that protects our political rights, your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and all of that is enormously important. But what we don't have, and what we should have, and this is what he said way back in 1944, he said, we need an economic Bill of Rights. We need to guarantee that all of the people in our country have economic rights. What are those economic rights? Those economic rights mean that when you go to work, you get decent pay, a decent job, that everybody is entitled to health care, that everybody is entitled to all of the education that they need, that people have the right to live in decent and affordable housing, that when you get old, you can retire with dignity, that you have a right to know that when you turn on the water faucet in your home, the water you are drinking is not toxic. So we talked about yesterday is economic rights as human rights. So right now you got the right to vote, but meanwhile you're working 2 or 3 jobs and you can't provide for your family. We got to change that. That's number one. Number two, the point that I made is that if you are going to defeat right-wing authoritarianism, whether it's Donald Trump in the United States or Putin or all of these other authoritarian leaders around the world who are attacking democracy, the only way that I know how you do that is you have an agenda that speaks to the needs of working families, and you have a movement which is prepared to stand up to the very powerful special interests that control our economic and political life. Now, you know, a lot of folks out there are very well-intentioned. Everybody talks about we have to improve health care, we have to improve education and climate change and all that. But at the end of the day, there is a reason why in the last 43 years, the average American worker has seen no increase in his or her inflation accounted for wages. Imagine that, 43 years, an explosion of technology, explosion of worker productivity, and working families are in exactly the same place in terms of their real wages. There's a reason why the very, very rich are getting richer. There's a reason why Wall Street today, after being bailed out, their concentration of ownership is even greater. Reason why the fossil fuel industry continues to go forward, destroying the planet. And we have got to recognize that, and that's a hard thing to do. But I think what we are striving for in this campaign, and what I do, is to try to create an unprecedented grassroots movement that is, in fact, prepared to take on the incredibly powerful special interests whose greed is destroying what this country is all about. So that, in a nutshell, is what a 45-minute speech was about.
That's great. I'm curious your thoughts on President Trump's statement yesterday that it's fine to accept gifts, things of value, in this case information, from foreign governments.
Look, you know, what it reminded me of is, and then he says in so many words, he says, well, you know, that's the way the real world is.
Yeah, he says every member of Congress does it, right? I've never heard of such a thing.
I think he used the word real world. You know, and when you think about this guy's business career and the fact that he was involved in, I think, some 3,000 lawsuits, that he ripped off many of the small private contractors, that is his real world. His real world is not based upon any ethical standard. He lies, he cheats. So if you have that moral standard, then why would we be surprised that if somebody came in and gave him illegal information that he would use it? So, you know, I'm not shocked by anything that comes out of the White House, and that's why our major priority has got to be to defeat somebody who really does believe, as president, he is above the law and that the Constitution and the laws of the United States do not apply to him.